Well, we're heading to another famous car collection in California.
Oh.
Could be the world's best collection, maybe the Mullins, the world's best. Odd that two of the greatest car collections on the entire planet are within just a few miles of each other.
Yeah, amazing.
The Mullin collection, which is spread around a little bit, and the Nethercutt, which is in a couple of buildings as well. The Nethercutt also includes a train.
Oh my goodness.
A Canadian Railways locomotive and passenger car. If you're going to collect cars, I guess you might as well also collect a train.
Absolutely.
Which is really cool, and a pipe organ, and a whole bunch of musical instruments and stuff. So we're actually going to be doing two shows here. We're going to start off with some of the cars and the musical instruments and the pipe organ and everything, and then we're going to come back and look at the bulk of the car collection.
Nice.
Anyway, check this out, the Nethercutt.
Wow.
Well, the Nethercutt Collection is really cool.
There's some interesting things in there.
Boy, I guess. It's in Sylmar, California, just up from the San Fernando Valley, almost in the San Fernando Valley. But they have an amazing collection here. The collection outgrew its building a few years back, and they built this new building. But this is the original building and the original car collection.
Boy, look at the opulence here. Wow.
It's amazing. The new building is kind of what you'd expect a car collection to look like. It's much more of a museum building. But the original building is very, very opulent, and it also has an amazing music room up on the 3rd level. Well, let's start with the train, because we love trains.
That's right. It was around back hidden. I had to drive the getaway car.
Well, and we had to sneak through a locked gate because they've got it closed because they're fixing it up and painting it. It's in desperate need of paint. It's kind of interesting. They're just painting it with brushes. But I guess they didn't want to build a tent around it, so they're just going to paint it with brushes. The locomotive was built for the Canadian Pacific by the Montreal Locomotive Works in 1938.
Boy, 80 years old.
The CP had a bunch of these different Hudsons, and they were their crack passenger trains. But a select group of them were called the Royal Hudsons because one of them transported King George's private train. And he said, you can now call your locomotive a Royal Hudson. I guess that's under appointment to the king or some such nonsense. And there's this passenger car, which is your standard Pullman car.
But those interiors are not standard by any definition.
No, I guess if you're going to have a royal train, you want it to be really nicely appointed inside. I love the gold sink.
Oh, no kidding. It's beautiful.
It's incredible. It'd be fun. I wish it was still running. The Canadian Pacific is kind of interesting in that it's as much American as it is British. It's kind of an interesting mix of both. The locomotive shows a lot of British DNA, and it's a classic American locomotive all at the same time. You know, our friend Ed Dickens, who's restoring the Big Boy, used to be fireman on one of these.
Oh my goodness, seriously?
Yeah, he showed us some video, and it dropped my jaw, I'll tell you what. What a beautiful locomotive, though. To get into the original building, you have to call ahead and make an appointment. This is not open to the public. What an opulent garage. I mean, we have Garage Mahal, but seriously.
Wow, this is like a museum. Well, I guess it is a museum.
It is a museum,
yeah.
And yet it really was just Nethercutt's private car collection. The cars in this room are the very first ones that he collected. His very first purchase is in this room. This is J.B. Nethercutt and his wife Dorothy, the collectors of all these cars. And they made their money with the Merle Norman Cosmetic Company. They were the founders of that. But they sure found a fun way to spend their money.
Oh, no kidding. I could spend money on those.
Jeez, no kidding. This row over here are the very first collections. His very first car is in this row right here.
I see it has a current license.
Yeah, it makes me wonder if he was driving it right up to his death.
I would have been.
I would. No kidding. If you're going to have cars like this, drive them.
Oh, I would drive them.
Nethercutt liked to get basket cases and then totally restore them, make them exactly the way he wanted.
Look at this 1938 Packard. That is just gorgeous.
And once he got it done, he took it to Pebble Beach and, of course, pulled down a best of show.
Oh, my.
I think he has more best of shows at Pebble Beach than anyone. As cool as Packards are, I'll bet it was not anywhere this nice when it was first built.
I imagine not.
The paint is just stunning, just absolutely stunning.
And that instrumentation. Whew.
And here's the awards that the car has won.
Oh, look here, another Packard. That one's a 1934.
And again, started off as something really rough, and Nethercutt fully restored the car. And a Rolls-Royce.
Oh my goodness, check out the leather interior, but only in the front?
Wow, yeah, because it's, it's a limousine. The driver only got leather in back. They have the nice upholstery.
Oh my, and today leather is the king.
Yeah, there's no leather back here. This is all hand-stitched, embossed fabric.
Wow, and leather was reserved for the poorer people or the chauffeur because it was like a cowhide.
The cowhide, yeah.
Cow.
The commoners did that.
Yes.
I really like these jump seats. They double as footrests when they're not being used as seats. Mm-hmm. The rear section here looks like wicker canework of some kind, but on close inspection, it's a form of pinstriping.
Isn't that astounding that they could paint that on there?
All hand-painted with a pinstriping brush using a thick paint and a HISPANO-SUIZA. Before this trip, I'd never even seen one. I'd always wanted to, and here's yet another one.
Oh, beautiful color.
Mullins got several, but wow, it was fun to come across yet another Hispano here in the Nethercutt Collection. Nethercutt's first love, I think, was really early American cars. A Franklin, so this is what my grandfather sold. And if Nethercutt really loved early cars, he must have loved this one. I don't think they get much earlier than this. At first, it seemed like the museum was sort of disorganized, but then it occurred to me that the cars are organized pretty much in the order that he purchased them. All of the original cars are here in the first building. Now, on the mezzanine level, they've got some of the collection of music boxes and antique furniture. There's quite a few beautiful music boxes. Check this one out.
I was totally mesmerized by those little dancing figurines.
Yeah, there's some really amazing music boxes and early European furniture here as well. Quite a collection.
Look at this, a sculpture made of sterling silver.
Yeah, hundreds of pounds of sterling silver.
See this. He's not there at the desk at your office. Hugh Hauser, he loved coming here. You'll see this desk here?
I am always amazed at the craftsmanship that goes into making something like this.
It's such a work of art.
And the third floor is the music room.
Oh, look at all of that. Wow.
I've heard about this music. I mean, it's a legendary music room. It contains some just incredible European orchestrions, Nickelodeons, player instruments of all kinds, as well as a few more music boxes.
These European orchestrions sure are neat.
Every tour, yeah. It takes 30 seconds. You got the piano right here.
This reminds me so much of the San Filippo collection.
Here we had a chance to see that in Chicago 2 years ago. San Filippo has this exact same instrument.
I love porcelain dolls, and these are just so elegant.
Yes, Nethercutt has collected many, many, many things, but he started collecting toys way back when.
These could qualify as toys.
I would call them toys. They're very, very nice and very, very expensive, but I'd call them toys. Back when we were kids, these things were all over the place in bars and places like that, but, well, one day they became highly sought after, and collectors started grabbing up everything. And Nethercutt has a Wurlitzer pipe organ.
Oh, look at that. That's nice.
And he's hooked it to this Bösendorfer concert grand. You know, we've heard some pretty amazing instruments over the years.
Oh, we certainly have.
We've been very lucky, but I've never heard an instrument quite like this one. It is far and away the nicest Wurlitzer I've ever heard. It's certainly not as big as some of the instruments that we've seen, but something about the room acoustics and the installation, it's just stunning. The museum staff here has hooked the Wurlitzer up to a really advanced MIDI system, and that also drives the Bösendorfer piano. These guys really know their stuff. Probably the principal reason for the amazing sound of this instrument are the people working on it.
And these guys have a really nice place to work.
And they're very, very well taken care of. Los Angeles's top executive chef fixes their lunch.
Imagine that, gee.
Oh, and here we see Nethercutt's original collection, his marbles.
Oh!
Well, he's come a long way from a penniless kid collecting Aggies and Steelies and cat's eyes. His collection is a little nicer than that now. Well, eventually the collection outgrew its building, and so Nethercutt just built a much bigger building right across the street. This one here. And the majority of the collection is over here.
And this one is open to the public. They don't charge admission. You can just walk right in.
And some of the nicest and most expensive cars are over here. Because again, they've all been arranged by the order they were collected in, not by any other particular order. Well, there you go. There's the Nethercutt.
Oh my goodness.
Isn't that an amazing museum?
Oh.
And we're not done. We have to come back and look at the lion's share of the cars. We've
Yes.
just seen some amazing stuff, though.
Yes.
With the pipe organ and the,
Oh my gosh.
Nickelodeon instruments
Right.
and a few of the cars and just
Yes.
some of the stuff going on.
Wow.
So next week we're going to be back, or in a couple of weeks we'll figure that out.
We'll figure it out.
We'll look at the rest of it. Well, if you haven't been over to the channel, pop on over to the channel. And if you're not a subscriber, do subscribe. And you can do that by clicking on the blue button. You ready? Zoink! Blue button right there says subscribe.
Yes.
Well, we're not sure how you found this movie on the internet. We hope you didn't find it boring.
No.
And we will see you here again in a few days with another show.
See ya.
Bye-bye.
Bye.